Oh hi. Erfurt, the city in Germany, the administrative center of the federal land of Thuringia. It is located in the center of Thuringia and modern Germany, in the valley of the Jeri River. University center and residence of the Catholic bishop. The historic center of the city is remarkable, both the sizes and safety degree, rare for Germany. In the ancient time, in the territory of the region, there were settlements of the German and Slavic tribes. The anonymous Bavarian geographer living in the 9th century believed that Erfurt was founded by the Slavic tribe of Verzet. It is for the first time documented in 742 under the name Erfurt, that means the ford through earth. That is through the Jeri River. In the message to the Pope of the Mainz Archbishop Boniface with the petition to create episcopacy here. In 805, Charles the Great made Erfurt shopping center on eastern frontier of the empire. At Carlovingians and kings of the Saxon dynasty on Hill Petersburg there was a royal palace later reconstructed to the monastery. In 1184 in the Erfurt Cathedral, the meeting of the Emperor Henry VI with the Landgrave of Thuringia and other large feudal lords, during which the wooden floor didn't sustain the weight of heavy men, took place, and they failed in its door. Not less than 60 people rolled in sewage. Medieval Erfurt grew and grew rich thanks to arrangement on a joint of the major trade roads of Germany in the center of the region, specializing in production of raw materials for blue paint. It was promoted in no small measure by local Jewish merchants. Though the Jewish community strongly suffered from riots after arrival of Black Death. Citizens in the 12th century surrounded the city with stone walls and began to pay to the archbishop an annual bribe for release from his power. In the middle of the 13th century received the Magdeburg privileges, and by 1279 at last were exempted from supremacy of the Mainz archbishops, having achieved the status of the free imperial city. In the 14th, 15th centuries, Erfurt consisted in the trade union with Mühlhausen and Nordhausen, who in the first third of the 15th century joined Hanseatic Association of the Cities. Since 1331 the local fair involved merchants from the neighboring cities and regions. In the 14th, 15th centuries, Erfurt, the fourth largest city of Germany with the population about 2,000 people. The city council controlled about 100 neighboring villages and locks, and also the town of Zeemerda. In the 14th century the third university of Germany, which existed till 1817, opened here. In 1530 Erfurt became one of Europe's first multi-religious cities. Here the equal rights of Catholics and Protestants were recognized. The end of the 16th century was marked by the beginning of trade decline, which was aggravated by 30 Years' War. From 1632 to 1650 the city was under the Swedish occupation. Plague epidemic in 1683 mowed clean more than a half of the population. In these conditions the weakened city couldn't oppose to an impact of Mainz, which with assistance of the emperor in 1664-67 returned himself the power over Erfurt. In order to avoid a revolt of citizens on Hill Petersburg, archbishops built the big fortress, allowing to observe all territory of the city. When carrying out a big mediatization of 1803, Erfurt was included in structure of the Prussian province of Saxony. From 1806 to 1814 the center of the Erfurt Principality and led by Napoleon, who solemnly accepted here in 1808 the Russian Emperor Alexander I and also kings of Bavaria, Saxony, Westphalia and Württemberg. The French made Erfurt the basic fortress in the east of Germany, built the temple and a 21-meter column in honor of Napoleon. Subsequently assorted. In the fall of 1813 Petersburg underwent the bombing from Allied armies which destroyed the whole quarter of urban development between the fortress and cathedral. The era of industrialization demanded modernization of city infrastructure. On the place of the sorted medieval walls wide modern streets were laid. Nowadays Yuri Gagarin's ring. In 1883 the line of the tram was started up. At the beginning of the 20th century Erfurt totaled already 100,000 inhabitants and treated the large cities of Germany. For years of World War I 79 citizens died. After Hitler's arrival to the power in 1933 over the city, control of Ensdorf was established. In 1938 Erfurt treated the biggest garrison cities of Germany. During all German Jewish disorder in the night of November 10, 1938 the big synagogue was burned and about 800 Jewish inhabitants were deported. Between 1939 and 1945 at the military enterprises of the city 100,150,000 prisoners of war and also women and men from various countries occupied by Germany forcibly worked. During World War II Erfurt transferred 27 air raids as a result of which about 1,600 people died and many buildings are destroyed. Though the rare temple in the city avoided hit of bombs, historical building in general remained inviolable. It is busy with the 3rd American Army on April 12, 1945. And on July 3 according to decisions of the Yalta Conference of Allied Powers I became a part of the Soviet zone of occupation. In 1946 Erfurt is announced by the capital of the state of Thuringia. In 1949 Thuringia was a part of the German Democratic Republic. In 1952 during the administrative reform undertaken in the Dida the state of Thuringia was abolished and divided into administrative districts, and Erfurt became the center of the administrative district of the same name. In the 1950th reconstruction of the city which was injured for years of war is carried out. After the reunification of Germany and restoration of the federal land of Thuringia, 1990. Erfurt became her capital again. Science and education. The University of Applied Sciences of Erfurt was founded in 1991. He differs in combination of scientific training and practical programs. During a winter semester 2008/09 academic years about 4,600 students studied. Faculty of Construction and Preservation/Restoration. Faculty of Engineering Support of Buildings and Informatics. Faculty of Landscape Gardening and Forestry. Faculty of Social Sciences. Faculty of Economy, Logistics, Transport. The University of Erfurt. 1392. Traditionally was considered as the third in age university of Germany, after the universities of Heidelberg, 1386, and Cologne, 1388. However, local historians don't stop trying to prove that the Erfurt University existed in 1379. and thus is the first in time of emergence by the University of Germany. Among his students there was future religious reformer Martin Luther. The university was closed in 1816 and repeatedly founded after the repeated reunification of Germany in 1994. Thus is the youngest state university de facto of Germany. During a winter semester 2008/09 academic years, about 4,700 students were registered. Philosophical Faculty, Faculty of Social and Political Sciences, Faculty of Arts, Pedagogical Faculty, Catholic and Theological Faculty. The Center Culturological and Social Scientific Research bears a name of the well-known Erfurtits of Max Weber. The main urban view of transport is the tram. He performs those functions which in larger cities belong to the subway. There are 6 tram routes, all of them pass through the downtown. Anger Square, the modern center of city life, which shouldn't be confused with the historic center, the Cathedral Square of Domplitz, and connect among themselves the main districts of Erfurt. Trams run to timetable, however can deviate it. Therefore at all stops there are electronic boards specifying how many minutes remain before arrival of trams of each route. In addition to tram routes, there is bus no. 9. The City Line, functioning by the same principles, with electronic boards at all stops. Other buses run to exact timetable which is hung out at each stop. In the city there is a taxi service. The main parking near the main railway station and bus station. The main long-distance and international transport in Erfurt Railway. There is a main station, Haupthof, located in the downtown, equipped at the modern level and connected with all areas tram and bus routes. Tramways and bus routes pass directly through the building of the station. In 2009 the station of Erfurt won at the all-German competition, the best stations of year, category of the large cities. The Erfurt Airport. To it tram no. 4 follows. Performs mainly transit functions, is a little brisk and the most part of time is almost deserted. Flights to some cities of Germany and Europe and the certain countries outside Europe are performed from him. The flights connecting him with Russia don't exist yet. Distant bus traffic in Germany in general was developed until recently badly and is even limited by law. Therefore in the country there are only several major companies making bus long-distance passenger traffic. In Erfurt buses of 3 or 4 of such firms stop. With them it is possible to reach Berlin, Cologne, Stuttgart and some other the cities of Germany. Landing both on distant and on local long-distance routes happens at the bus station, which is near the main railway station. Near bus station, the place of arrival of buses of the private Russian firms offering routes to Germany is also usually appointed, mainly from Moscow and St. Petersburg. Sites: the historical heart of the city, Cathedral Square, over which tower Gothic Virgin Mary, 1154-1472. Cathedral with medieval stained glass windows and Church of the Sacred North with 3 spikes. It is put in 1278. They stand side by side and make the main symbol of the city. To an entrance to temples conduct 70 steps of an open ladder Domstufen. The middle of the 19th century. The area is extraordinarily big by the sizes, as in her northern part there was a whole quarter of houses destroyed during bombing of 1813. In the 1920th and in the 1980th it was planned to build up this part of the square with modern buildings, however these plans weren't carried out. To the north of Cathedral Square, Mount Petersburg. Petrovsky Mountain, where there is a citadel of the 17th century of the same name and Romance church of St. Piet, 1103-47. Survived from monastery of Benedictines. Furniture of the temple, up to body and bells, was sold by auction by Napoleon's deputy, and the church tower then was sorted on construction materials. From strengthenings of the mountain by Petrova, the best view of the old city with his 16 medieval churches opens. In the residential development of the city centre, multi-storied merchant mansions of Renaissance are allocated, many of which got or complicated the polychromy decor in the 19th century. Also several medieval towers and sites of city walls of the 11th, 12th centuries remained. Among the housing estate, the old synagogue put in 1094 and which is laying claim to the oldest in Europe is mislaid. It wasn't destroyed by Nazis only because many centuries it was used in the civil purposes, and her initial purpose was forgotten. Inside, the treasure buried by Jews on the eve of disorder of 1349 is shown. Other remarkable place: Shopkeeper's Bridge, Kramerbruck, 1293, 1325, 1472. Through the narrow Gera River, more reminding the ordinary city street as on, and there are 32 residential buildings. It is the only medieval inhabited bridge which remained to the north from the Alps. On each predmostly strengthening in 1325 the church, one of which devoted to St. Egidi still acts, was arranged. By the southern part of the old city there passes the long pedestrian square street Anger, to which there are 4 churches and luxurious houses in modernist style. In this area there are most valuable buildings in Baroque style: the residence of the deputy of the elector, 1711-20, and the former customs, 1705-11, converted in Anger Art Museum. Near Merchant Church on Anger in 1889 the monument to Martin Luther preaching in it is established. The reformer studied at the university and for a number of years lived in the monastery of Augustinians. N.M. Karamzin, who visited the monastery in 1789, left the following comment: I saw there a cell in which Martin Luther lived from 1505 to 1512 years. On walls of this small, dark room his history is written. On a table the German Bible of the first edition, which was used by Luther and in which all blank pages are used up by his hand, lies. The Dominican monastery of Erfurt with Predigerke Church. The 13th, 15th centuries was famous to the whole Europe thanks to wisdom of the prior Eckhart. The body of this church was considered nearly as the best in Thuringia, and as organists consistently served Johann Bach, 1636-73, the ancestor of the Erfurt-Bakov family. Pachelbel, 1678-90. Butticktet, 1691-1727. Adlon, 1727-1762. And Kittel, 1762–1809. Gardens and parks. Since the Middle Ages, when Erfurt was obliged by the welfare to cultivation tinctorial vida, and at monasteries extensive gardens blossomed. In the city, gardening traditions are very strong. In 1838, the Prussian authorities elected Erfurt the venue of the first all-German exhibition of gardening, which in these or those forms is held annually. Egger Park, the biggest and visited from parks of Thuringia, is broken on the place of the former fortress Kyriaksburg. Since 1961, in the territory of the park, the German Museum of Gardening works, and Erfurt deserved the nickname City of Flowers. In 1924, in Erfurt, the Institute of Vegetable Growing and Decorative Floriculture was founded. The Thüringsky Zoo. It is founded in 1959. One of the largest in Germany. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.